I'm so happy we are doing this.
I know I found the guts, because I'm trying to avoid these kind of things because my talking is not my forte, you know. I was a classical pianist, so my talking was through music. And I know I talk very fast, and so I said, let's do this. This is my chance now to break that barrier.
Yeah, it's all about getting out of our comfort zone. Same with the
Exactly.
diagnosis, same with trusting your gut instead of trusting others. So this is something that I think it's time for you to explore, and instead of being going into fear, going in with excitement.
Exactly. And you are the perfect person to do this, first person to do this, because you were one of the people that I followed when I was diagnosed. And, after a year of following you, I said, let me do my account as well. And, I put my first post, Brené Brown's quote saying that I want to share my story to inspire others and show to others, kind of a roadmap. And this comes full circle now. So
Yeah.
it's great that I'm doing it with you.
I love that. And also, you mentioned it in the email that you just got your MRI result back.
Yes, yes, it's a big day for me. Today I have here the MRI results, and yeah, no progression, no activity. This is my second year, and symptom free actually, and DMT free. So it's awesome after the story that I have. It's really a big victory.
So
Yeah.
tell us about your story, like your diagnosis and how did you find out you have MS? What kind of symptoms did you have?
I was diagnosed in 2021, but my story and I think my diagnosis, my MS started very, very long time ago. Since a little kid, I never felt a healthy kid, you know. I'm Romanian, so I was a little bit chubbier, and you maybe know, but there the standards are really thin, so I always felt like I'm a little bit fat. I was always no energy, standing a lot in the bed, and people were like, no, you're just a lazy kid. And I'm like, no, I just don't have the energy, and all my life I was a classical pianist, so I was practicing up to 10 hours every day, very sedentary lifestyle. I was drinking 2 liters of Coke every day, two chocolates. So I think that is the basis. That's how my MS started. So this is one of the ideas that are very popular in autoimmune disease when they say my diagnosis, my disease is not my fault. And here I understand why people say that. They want to take a little bit to make it easier a little bit on themselves. But that for me was scarier because if I know it was not my fault, it means I cannot fix it. But once I changed that mindset and I looked back and I said, how did I get to this stage? I realized, oh, everything makes sense. I totally did it myself. And then I said, if I did it myself, I can heal myself. So that was an important mindset shift that happened. But as I was saying, it started really early. I never felt really good. And I was in a very high performance type of environment. I was a classical pianist. I was doing a lot of competitions, a lot of self-talk, negative self-talk. Even if I would win grand prizes, I would say it was not good enough. I can do more and better, which in a way that helped me get where I wanted to, but also has the other side of the coin, which is, I think, helped my MS to really develop. So then I moved to the US, which, from Romania, Bucharest, where I was walking, 10 hours a day, moved to Texas, where I was in a car all the time and I could not walk. I put a lot of weight, and actually, just in a matter of 3 months, I became almost like the low part of obese. I gained 30 kilos, which it's huge. And I was starting to have even more symptoms that now I know it's a mess. But then I thought it's normal. You know, I had people around me with mononucleosis, with Epstein-Barr. I was very tired. No, it's normal. I'm practicing until 2 in the morning. I'm waking up at 6. I'm working and doing school. Nothing to worry. Then I also started numbness on my fingers. And I said, I'm practicing so much. It's normal. You know, it's often people have like carpal tunnel or problems from practicing. Also, my back pain. Now it's normal because from piano, our position, usually you have scoliosis. I had scoliosis and all of that. Also, when I was there, I started to be extremely depressed. And actually, I was not understanding why, because when I moved to the US, my roommate was taking some pills, and I asked her, like, oh, are you sick? What's going on? And she said, no, this is for depression. And me coming from Romania, this is such a taboo subject. Why would you be depressed?
You live in America, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's why you have everything. You have the money. You have a car. Which for me, coming from Romania, a car is only people after work a lot of years they have a car. So you have a car. You have a family, which is loving. You know, I come from a part where it's very disciplined, and unfortunately was not this very calm environment that I grew in. And I did not understand until it hit me. And actually it hit me when I was at the top. I was in a best school in Texas, and like top tier school. I was having a lot of job, actually double than other people. I was a teacher. Everybody was having 20 private students. I was having 40, and I was actually getting married. And that's when it happened that I had a panic attack while I was teaching. I was preparing for my wedding, and maybe people would say, you are very stressed. It's okay that, but then later, 10 years after, I was telling my neurologist, I'm having panic attacks. And he said, when that started? And then I was like, at least 10 years ago. And I did not think that this could be an MS symptoms. I thought it's more like a, mental health type of thing. And also my anger issues. I was a very bitter, angry person. But I always said it's because I come from an environment when anger was the norm. This is my personality. But now, after so many years, to discover, oh, I have a lesion where it's affecting my mood, to be like kind of bipolar. And also now to get into heavy metal testing and to be discovered that I was pretty much Chernobyl, like a really, very bad, very high amounts of not, aluminum, but arsenic and other things that, I tested the water in the house and it's not from here. So this can stay in the body for a very long time. So now I'm thinking, going back to my childhood, this started then. Okay, this is such really a chronic problem. With so many other stuff that I discovered, like Lyme disease and other things, So back to the story, I was in my best era ever, and I was having these symptoms. My depression was at the level that I became suicidal, actually. And but was very proud, and I can do it all. I was like, I'm not going to ask for help. This is, nobody can help me. This is a mental problem. I need to figure it out. I got married. Then from the US, I have a Brazilian husband, so I'm all over the place. Very multicultural. We moved to Austria in Vienna, and we have 2 kids, almost 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And this is the blessing in disguise, even though I think I have this MS for at least 10 years, I'm very thankful that I was not diagnosed in time and that I was gaslighted by doctor all the time telling me, no, your blood tests are perfect. For your age, this is perfect. You don't have anything. And I said, but I feel like I'm an 80-year-old. I have no energy. No, no, no. It's okay. You have small kids. You have no help. Um, it's normal. And then I started getting into my head, it's normal. Maybe I'm weak. Even though whoever knows me, I'm a very strong person. As a little kid, I did everything by myself. I got out of Romania with no help, just through really hard work on what I did. I got scholarships, and even in the US, when things were hard, I said, I'm gonna get a car and I will live in the car. I'm not a quitter. I'm not a loser. I will figure out. So, they say don't glorify your perpetrators. They did not make you stronger. You were stronger. I do not agree with that. I believe I was stronger. I had it in me, but without those hard times, I don't think it will get to the surface how it went. And all this, I'm looking back at my story and I see how everything is perfectly designed for where I'm today. People say, I grieve my own life. I want to feel like myself again. And I'm like, no, all of that helped me to be who I am today. And I don't want to go back to that, but it really developed me in who I am. But I came to Vienna, as I was saying, and then I started my anger issues very strong. Of course, after kids, and they said, no, this is postpartum depression.
Um,
I have to,
hold on,
I,
hold on. I have to stop you. Your story is just so, it's almost like I'm listening to myself. Like,
yes,
because it's like I'm from Romania, but that's only the small part in this story. But everything that you just said, it's like blaming yourself and going through all this by yourself and trying to figure out, and yes, I'm strong enough, I can do this. And it's such a similar, but I guess everybody, that's why I want to share all these stories, including yours, because I'm sure everybody who watches this finds something small that can associate with. So thank you so much for sharing this.
no, thank
And
you, because
I give you back the microphone, so continue back to the
yes, I talk with so many people, and when I talk to them, I'm like, oh my God, you understand me so well. Oh my God, this is so similar. I thought I'm alone. And if people really tell their story without shame or blame, just really open up, I think the people will realize we are a lot more similar than we are different. People say, no, I'm different. Also, in the way we treat our disease, we say, no, but this for sure will not work for me. We are different. I'm like, but try it, because you might have the surprise that we are actually more similar. And I think that's why I also, I start, doing this today with you. I got, in other projects to really spread the word and show to the people what is possible. I feel like I have a vast experience, also very hard childhood. I even got sexually abused when I was in kindergarten, which I now think, no, this never affected me. I never, it doesn't even cross my mind, but I think it's just so deep uh, in me, and this attitude like, no, nobody can, that was a long time ago, the person is dead, it doesn't matter. But then now to read that actually this kind of experiences, they do leave a print and they do leave a mark. And this little thing, 2 liters of coke a day, a lot of chocolate, sedentary lifestyle, a little sexual abuse, a little blame, a little shame, they add up. So this is another thing that I do not agree when I hear people say it's the life with MS is so unpredictable. And I also thought that, when I was very sick, my legs, I had spasms and tremors and spasticity in my legs. And I was just waking up every morning and putting very slowly the leg down and be like, let's see, it's today. Today, can I walk today? And then, I had foot drop in the mornings. I could not really bend my ankle very good. But I was like, is the day today? Okay, it's great. And I felt like it's unpredictable, but I want to give this message to people that is not unpredictable. If you really look back, if you really analyze your day, and you will see that the body, you did something wrong one day, and the body, has the resilience, can compensate another day, another month, another year, 10 years, a decade, and then boom, and then you feel like it was a surprise, but no, it added up, so I don't think it's unpredictability.
Same thing is true for healing. Like you just do one small little thing one today, and you do two small little thing tomorrow, and maybe you repeat the two small little thing, or you do the one because that's only you are capable of. But over the year, that small little thing is gonna add up, and you're gonna feel so much better.
Exactly. It's like an avalanche, a little bit, and then boom. It's like, for me, I can say, no, my symptoms disappeared in a matter of weeks, but actually, no, I did a lot of work before that. Really, the body felt safe to really do its work and finish.
So share some of the things that you did and some of the things that worked for you to heal and to feel like you are healed. I want to know all of those.
Yeah. So when I got the diagnosis, and the things that made me get to my diagnosis, actually, I live in Austria, Vienna. Amazing healthcare system. Everything is free to go to the doctor. So it's not like I was living in the US where it's a little bit more complicated. I said, no, I will never pay for a private doctor. But I was going to the doctors all the time. And they said, no, you maybe have a psychological problem. You need a psychiatrist because your tests are perfect. I don't know why you are complaining, And then it was one day that I really had a very bad anger attack. And I was looking at my kid. She was a baby at that time. And I said, I cannot live like this anymore. She was, a lot of crying. I was alone, probably postpartum depression. And I was just looking at her thinking, I'm going to do something bad to her and then do it to myself. I said, this is not life. And no one believes me. Everybody, even my family, was saying, but come on, Rebecca, push it a little bit. And I said, you know me, how strong I am. When I say I am in pain, prepare the emergency room, because I'm really bad. No one was believing me anymore because the doctor was like, no, it's perfect. It's nothing. But they were not doing much testing. They were doing just the regular tests, the vitamin D and all of that. I'm like, yeah, your vitamin D is a little bit under 20. Now I know under 20, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But you are fine. So I had this thought. I was really suicidal. I was looking at the metro coming and be like, I'm just gonna jump. It was really bad. Then what happened is that I was talking with a friend and I was looking at her and I'm like, I don't know her name. I don't know her name. Then I was on the street. I was going on a road that I was going every day on that road. I got out. I'm like, I don't know where I am. Google Maps. It happened that my grandma had Alzheimer's disease. And from all my research, I understood that Alzheimer doesn't appear at 60. It starts in your 30s and it's obvious in the 60s. So I was like, oh my God, I think I have Alzheimer because my memory was an elephant memory. I was a classical pianist. I was memorizing hundreds of pages of music. Then I was talking with my son. Okay, let me teach you the alphabet. A, B, Google. What's the alphabet? So I was like, oh my God, it's coming. Then I said, I cannot trust the normal doctors. I know something is wrong. I know myself. I know that I'm this educated person that should not have these problems. And then I said, okay, I'm going to go to functional medicine clinic. being so scared that I know that I want somebody to find me. I know I'm sick. I was researching, I was with the kids. When my husband would come, he would stay with the kids. I was online nonstop, hearing podcasts, like Dr. Hyman and pharmacy, podcast, and trying to figure out the pieces. And then I heard Selma Blair on an interview, and she was saying how tired she was. And I was like, oh my God, she's like me. This is me. The only problem was optic neuritis. I did not have it. And actually, I thought I didn't have it because the surprise came when I went to the ophthalmologist, like the neuro-ophthalmologist, and he said, based on your atrophy, you did have optic neuritis. But because I have glasses since I was 6 years old, I never thought that, a little bit of blurriness. Oh, well, I wear glasses all my life. It's normal. Or, floaters or all of that. So just so many things that pointed, even the doctors, if they would just listen to us, if they would listen, I would be found at least 10 years ago. But again, as I said, I'm grateful that I have my kids, because I know maybe I would have one. And yes, of course, you can have kids with MS, but I think my brain will be like, I cannot do this to them, because
Yeah.
at that time I was believing what the doctor said, that you will just progress. So when I went to the functional medicine clinic and I was telling them all my symptoms, and one of them was incontinence number 2, and I was 30 years old, and I even ended up buying adult Pampers. For a woman in her 30s to buy adult Pampers, imagine, the mental load that came with. And I had many things, like scalp problems. My hair was hurting me all the time, but I know it's the hair and the nerves on the scalp. I had these memory issues. I had a hearing problem, even though I went to the doctor and they said, your hearing is perfect, and it makes sense because I was a musician. I trained my hearing since a very little kid, but I could not really hear. I could not either really hear very good. And that's why people say, you are just screaming. Why are you screaming? And I'm like, I just, that's my level where I hear. But also, when others would scream, will really trigger me. Like, to live with 2 little kids, and it's a lot of crying and a lot of screaming, that will trigger me so much. That was very hard on me. And then my hands remained paralyzed for 15 minutes twice. This like this before diagnosis. I was actually in the testing. They were saying, okay, maybe this is MS, and this happened to me. As a classical pianist all my life, that was terrifying because my hands were who I was.
Mm.
When somebody was asking me, who are you? I'm a pianist. I'm not Rebeca, I'm a pianist. So that's another mindset that really helped me a lot to deal with my MS. When I decided to give up DMT because I was progressing on it, I said, okay, Rebeca, you are really a courageous person. So why are you so scared? What can you lose? Okay, you can lose your hands. And then I realized I always saw myself as a pianist, So no, you are not a pianist, You are kind, you are generous, you are funny for some, you have this ability to make somebody's day, So that's who I am. And MS cannot take that from you. Yes, can take your hands, you can take your legs, but are so many people with these disabilities, and they are really making a difference in the world. So why are you scared? So this is really, I believe, the biggest piece of the puzzle in my healing was my mental switches, which is, who am I really? I'm not my hands, I'm not my legs. If I lose my hands and my legs, I did the best I could with them. I, provide me a beautiful life. I traveled a lot because of my hands. I met a lot of people because of my hands. But that was then, and now I could see how I can progress without my hands. So once I got that fear, And I realized that who was the robber, the stealer, was not a mess, it was myself. Because for me to be so scared every day, I was ruining, thinking about the future. So I was living in the future. I was robbing myself of my present. Um, and once I realized that, it all changed. Also, another thing that I I do not necessarily agree with, and for some people works, for some like me didn't. But you need to have hope. I had hope a lot, but every day nothing was getting better. I really hope today I can swallow better. I also had problem with swallowing. Nope, it's not getting better.
I
I
am
really
smiling
hope.
because I was a big hope advocate. Like
No.
a few years ago, I was like, yeah, all I need is hope. And no,
Mm,
no, that's not all you need. You have
yeah.
everything. You just have to tune into yourself, and hope is there. You don't have to look outside. You have to look inside.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's not only hope. You can have hope. It's great to have hope, but then to have an attack plan. If you don't have the action, it's like with the visualization or with the boards and everything. It's great to have it like a visual thing in there. Awesome, but you need an execution plan. If you just stay in bed and be like, I really hope my legs will work, but then I'm getting some Coke and some chocolate and no, no, you need to work for it, and
But also, you can visualize it, and that's better
yes,
than hoping.
yes, yes. So that's what I'm saying. Are not, this or that. And I talk with many people that they see black and white. It's either this, it's either that. No, you need to, uh, both like contraries can work together, but you need to know when is the time for this and when is the time for that. And really be creative and really be fluid, not stuck. And which is happening, for example, with diets. Oh, I'm going to follow this diet to the teeth and this diet to the teeth, but it's not working. No, it's not working because you need to tune in with your body, and listen to your body. That's another problem that I see often is that people are also scared of symptoms. And I'm like, no, your body is talking to you and telling you, hey, here, I'm feeling this pain. I am inflamed. Help this part, please. So it's giving a little oomph. But when you do not hear for a decade, it'd be like, okay, hey, I need to wake you up. So that's why I think for me, everybody tells me, you should not see my MS. No, it's my MS. It's part of me. Another big thing for me is that I accept myself completely with all the parts. I don't accept only the good part. I am not only the funny, generous, and whatever. I'm also the little devil part, and those need to work together. I think many people have a lot of shame, and they really want to cut half of themselves, but then they say, I don't feel whole. Well, you cut half of yourself, so how can you expect to be whole? And I don't say, oh, I should just be proud of my dark side. No, you should just embrace it, like a little kid. When a little kid has a tantrum, you don't just push him away and you think the situation is going to go better. No, if you actually get closer to him and curious and try to have a conversation, he will tell you exactly what is the problem. So I think make your enemy your friend, and that's what I feel like I did. It's my MS. I cherished my MS, and it will sound crazy, but I don't want to not have MS. If somebody would say you are cured, no, I want to keep my MS with me because this is the best friend I have. It's the one that really is honest with me in giving me the symptoms. It's honest and keeps me accountable. Like every day, I'm like, I need to respect myself. I can, and now, oh, I'm symptom free for 2 years. I can just start drinking and whatever, and my MS will be like, hey, this is not, and it's not even about the disease. It's just to respect yourself. Put
It's so interesting you
quality.
said that. It's so interesting you said that because I had another interview a few days ago, and she was saying the same thing that life gave me MS, and I'm so thankful for that, because if it could give me something, that a headache that I cure in like 5 minutes, then I wouldn't be accountable every day to do the best for my health. And that's
Yeah,
the profound thing to, like, yes, life
exactly. Because
knows what to throw on you.
yeah, this is the human nature. I was making a post about all of the wars, and you see, it's a war, and everybody's like, this was horrible. The people come together, and then it finishes, and then people go to the same thing back. So you need this reminder, because we will repeat the mistakes, because yeah, we are human, and I accept myself as a human. I accept my mistakes, but now I don't see anything as a mistake. I see that all my mistakes got me, to a better things, and even not my own mistakes, but even what happened from the environment. Like when I was in the US, it just didn't work out. I needed to move, and then I came to Austria. I got pregnant with my son, and my son ended up was born with 11 fingers, which is also a very funny story, because I dreamed he would have extra fingers. And even though on the sonography they said no, he has 10 fingers, because he was holding his hand like this, whoop, and the other extra finger was here. So they said no, he has 10 fingers, and I'm like, but I dreamed about this, which is crazy. And when they got him out, they were like, oh my god. They gave it to me, and I first thing counted fingers. I'm like, he has 11 fingers. I start crying, thinking people will bully him and everything. My husband was crying because I almost like died during this delivery. I gave birth naturally, and he was almost 4 kilos, and he was going up and down and up and out and in and out and in. But I was like, oh my god, if I would be in the US now, the surgery here was for free and was just perfect. But there, it would cost me one kidney. So thank goodness I came here. Also, the quality of the food and everything. I'm wondering how my healing would look like in the US. I don't say it's not possible. There are so many of you guys there that are doing it, but the cost of it, and I think it's a little bit harder, to really look for all the ingredients and things. So everything that happened, for me, it's like, no, it was a blessing in disguise, and that's how I feel my mess is really a blessing in disguise. And everybody thinks I'm just exaggerating, but truly, I cried of happiness so many times, thinking about this journey. And even when I go to my MRI, it's usually the morning before, I'm looking back and just I cry of happiness. Really, I'm extremely happy. So yeah.
I always say that you have your guides always with you. Sometimes you don't follow their advice, and that's when things don't go the way they're supposed to. And when you tune into them, they know exactly where you need to be and where you have to go.
Yeah, the gut feeling, because when I was diagnosed, my doctor, after them telling me, no, you just have mental problems, your tests are perfect. After a few months, they said, you have a mess. It's an incurable disease. You are not going to walk in 10 years. And, I had two babies, in a stroller. And I was thinking, so in 10 years, they will push me? This is crazy. I came to you year after year, and you told me I'm okay. And now you tell me nothing can be done. So, of course, they said, okay, you need to get on a DMT. And after I was diagnosed, was I was blessed to find out about Matt Embry and about his document. I saw his documentary on Amazon Prime, and then I start questioning everything, about the DMT. I suggest everybody should look into that, even if they don't believe that. Just another perspective. And then I also read the DMT side effects, and I said, my gut said, no, this is not right. How can you lower your immune system and have a good life, thriving? my gut was saying no, no, no. But I went to my neuro. He said, you need now. You need to act now. You are very advanced. At that point, I was found with over 15 lesions on my brain and 4 on my spine, which that it's advanced. And that's how I know my MS didn't start in 2021 when I was diagnosed. It has a long history. So he said, you don't have time. We need to act fast. So I felt like I was
Pushed. Yeah.
pushed to decide fast. My gut was saying no, but I said, but I don't have time, because I was needing to get vaccines for hepatitis or things like that, and to send my uh, this which one is the test that they show you if you, for example, for Tysabri, you cannot get it.
Yes.
That one, which takes a long time, and it's like my God or whoever was telling me this is not the right decision, because my levels were 3.6, I think, and already over 1, it's a high risk of developing the brain inflammation.
Yes. The JC positive.
Yeah. So my neuro said, you will never get Tysabri here, maybe in other parts, but here you will never, because they are very concerned with safety. But they said, but you need to act now. And also in Austria, it's funny how in other countries they say the stronger, the earliest, the better. Here they have this system that you need to fail 2 less aggressive treatments. So they see you really need, you really can, to get the risk of those. So they put me on Tecfidera for a year. I was on Tecfidera, my first and last DMT. And he was pressuring me. And I went to him and I said, I do not believe in it. I do not see how lowering the immune system can help me, but I'm scared to not be afraid. I'm scared to not be sorry if something happened. For people to be like, look, you could choose that, and now look what happened. And nothing is. And they said nothing is reversible. And I have 2 kids. It's also that part. It's a little bit different when you are a mother. You don't think only about you, and usually you think about the kids first. But another mindset change was, how they say in the plane, you need to put your mask first and then the kids. And for me, it was always so weird. I'm like, come on, I'm a mother, of course I'm going to put my kids. But when I decided to give up the DMT, I said, I'm going to put myself a priority. And and this was a decision, together with my husband. I said, look, I want to really focus for a year to see, if it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work, but I need to give my best. I cannot just do halfway and then I'll be like, it didn't work. No, I need to put my best. So I need you to be more hands-on, which he's very hands-on. So I'm really lucky about that. And really, I put myself priority. And I think that's key in the beginning. I was saying no to everything. No little kids parties that, it's like sensory overload. I need my alone time. I need to really do this search in myself and put myself these hard questions and really figure out, who I am, what I want to do, and have this straight. So I know, I talk with many people, and it's very hard for them because, I also gave up my job. At that time, I was not really working a lot because I'm a private teacher for kids. So when I could teach those kids, my kids were home, so I said, no, I'm not going to pay a babysitter to take care of my kids, to give all my salary to her. I'm going to take care. So I was not having many students, but also when I was very sick, I was also very triggered while I was teaching, also the sound and the overload. I also not find my words. And people were like, well, it's normal because you talk so many languages. I talk Romanian, Spanish, Portuguese. I took 10 years of French, but I don't know anything except je m'appelle Rebeca, je jouais du piano. I took a year of Latin in school, and now I'm in Austria and I'm trying to learn German. So they are like, it's normal. It's nothing wrong here. It's just too many languages. Now, my German really sucks. Today, I kind of like open my results online. Like I videotaped myself so it was a surprise for me when I was opening. And it was just one sentence saying that my spine and cerebral parts are all stable, but I did not understand the words. So I was like, let me Google Translate, but maybe I have a new lesion on my spine. And then I Googled it, I was like, it's stable. Ah, yes, it's stable. Yes, good, good. So that's how bad my German is. But now I know I do have lesions on the part that handles the understanding and the learning process. So yeah, it's fine. But look, I'm deviating so many because I have so many stories, and I'm so excited to talk to you. I don't remember what was the question.
Thank you so much for sharing. You made my job very easy today. Thank
Oh
you.
no, yeah, no, we need to be
Please,
serious.
we have 10 more minutes before I have another interview, but I would love, love, love to hear what did you do first after all this research? Like, what was the biggest thing that really helped, and what do you recommend for others to do and try?
Yeah, when I was diagnosed, I immediately started researching and I saw the diet. So I went immediately lactose-free, gluten-free. I started Best Bet Diet. And I started with that because they have this free cookbook. So it was so much information and I was overwhelmed that I'm like, I'm just going to follow the cookbook. And, I started simple. I didn't want to make all of it. No, just simple. So I was doing the diet. I was doing some workout, but not a lot. But still, I was taking the DMT and I was progressing. So when I decided, okay, I stopped the DMT, I was really, really strict with my diet. So I was going out, I was eating home, I was just getting water in the restaurant. I was not touching absolutely anything. I was going with the kids for ice cream, I was eating a banana. Even my husband was like, wow, come on, just a little bit will not really make a difference. I'm like, no, I really want to give 100%. Also with the working out, I was working out 4 to 6 times a week. I was doing it in the house because I don't have the resources to pay somebody. Really, like, as I said, I was obese. I had a lot of things and my body really changed and it made a difference. Now, after 2 years looking back, I want to sync also my workouts with my cycle. I heard about this. So working out 6 times a week, maybe for a female, it's not the thing. But for me, it was not only about the workout. It was just me practicing, 6 times a week, practicing my resilience on something that I absolutely hated. Working out it's still, my weakness. It's something that I don't enjoy. So diet, workout, mindset was the most important for sure.
Be a therapist after all.
I did not have any therapy. I had therapy with myself. I'm a Capricorn, and we are very self-sufficient. I'm my own therapist. Also in the Instagram, I do this post, and when I feel like I need that message, I watch my own things and I read my own things. I'm like, come on, Rebecca, you can do this. As I was saying, I was my worst, critic, which it was a good thing. But now I also learned how to be my strongest cheerleader. So, even online, I put the smallest thing. I made a workout. Maybe for other people that workout was easy. Hey, for me was not. I showed up. I'm super proud of myself. And I don't want to seem cocky, but I am really confident and I'm proud of myself. And why should I be ashamed to be proud of myself? I don't want to only blame myself that I'm not good enough. And I did that for 30 years and look where it got me. So I would say mindset for sure. Of course, go to a therapist. I'm sure it helps. I don't know, but really, it's a inside job. No one can do it for you. I talk with people and I really say all of this, but in the end, I really cannot help you. And when they help themselves and when they have results, they thank me. I'm like, it was not me, it was you. I just, give you a little push and remind you that you are strong enough and smart enough to heal yourself, because body is, it's made, this is how is the body made, for healing itself, you know. So in these terms, fasting, I also started fasting last year. I started it really slowly, you know, from 16 hours to 18 to 24, and I got now to 83 hours of fasting. I do it once a month, and again, it's very important for females, sync with your cycle, because
What,
if not, you can
24?
mess your hormones.
You said you are doing a 24-hour fast once a month?
No, for example, in January it was 83 hours. So I'm doing a
3 day
3 hour,
fast.
2 days fast. Yeah. I start, you know, increasing. So before it was 16 hours and 18 and 24. And, but the key is to sync it with your cycle, because some people are like, I cannot go so long without food, probably because you are doing it in the wrong window, because, you know, are days where you wake up hungry and are days that it's okay. So you really need to know that.
How did you figure that out? Did you read a book? Did you do research on it, or you just listen to your body?
So my friend, she was reading about it. So I got into this Instagram account of this lady, Mindy Perez, which is
Yes.
kind of like the guru of this
Yes.
fasting, for specifically for humans. Yes, for humans, for women as well. We are also humans. Yeah. And I learned there more, because before I tried to do it the other way, and I'm like, oh, this is not working, but it was because of the bad timing. So I was doing the fasting, the workouts, the diet, the mindset, and you know what? I started really enjoying life. I think that was key for me, because I lost hope. They said it's progressive, meaning today is the best day of my life. Tomorrow will be a little worse. So I'm gonna make the best with what I have and really enjoy, because yeah, time is passing, my kids are growing, and I'm getting sicker, they said. And even my doctor said, when I asked him, is a new lesion every MRI a lot, he said, if you live until 60, if your life expectancy is 60, yes. When I heard 60, it's like I'm gonna die when my kids will not even be my age. So now it's, you know, that's why I said the mess, it's a blessing in disguise, because I will, you know, as I was a workaholic and high achiever, I would be like, I have time. You know, when I retired, I will travel and I will enjoy life. And then MS was like, no, friend, you don't have that time. Which is crazy that even healthy people, they think they have the time. They can die tonight, you know. So that's one thing I will suggest to people. Relax, trust the process, control, do everything 100 million% on things that you can control, like diet and exercise. But the rest that is not in your control, surrender, and whatever, trust the process and trust yourself, and you will do good. You can do even better than before. I'm living proof, and not only me, but also you and everybody from the book, are so many people. It's just that they are not advertised, because yeah, it's not really helpful. The success stories. I heard this thing saying, the planes that make it, that land, they don't make the news. You know, it's just the ones that are not. And that's so true also. And I really want to change the narrative, because you are newly diagnosed, you get online and you only see this: my life is over, and my body's against me. And people hear that, and you hear that every day, and you start believing it. So I encourage everybody that sees this and they have this kind of story of success. And success is not only, you know, to be in remission, or no, success in the terms of you as a person, you feel at peace and you have a happy life, you know, even if your diagnosis is progressing. For me, success is not I'm not progressing but I have a miserable life, I'm bitter and I hate my life. No, success is, even if I'm sick, I just spread, you know, this energy around me, and I don't need to live until 100. I can live a beautiful, happy life until 40. And for me, that is more valuable than the rest. So I encourage everybody to tell your story. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I know
Oh, thank you.
it was a big decision to open up and talk in front of the camera, but thank you.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are gonna find a lot of inspiration in your story. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I hope my energy, I don't need to show you the paper. My energy tells you that thriving with MS and any other chronic illness, Hashimoto, Lyme, and everything, it is more than possible. And just contact the people that you want to have their results, because those ones that they were in hell and now they heal, they are willing, they want to shout the good news, and so yeah, to reach out and don't live in your head, because the mind, it's amazing, it lies to you nonstop. So yeah, get out
Yeah.
there, start thinking with your gut and with your heart, and just enjoy life. Come on, you have one precious life, and you do not know when it stops. It can stop tonight. Truly, I always think about that. I start every day as my last day, even when I feel good. You never know, So that's my message. Just have a really honest talk with yourself of who you are and what you want, and work from there. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you again.